of course. He knew that if the demon really appeared in this wilderness, the 4 gods, the messenger, will appear at the same time in the same place, not just him. I think the person in front of me is so knowledgeable. Tan Nen recounts how their holy master felt the breath of the angel that appeared yesterday. It was just a fleeting ghost, but it was not enough to change the realm to prove the wind. Seal still. So there's no need to bother the other gods to check it out alone. When Ling Xiao heard about it, he saw that he was too confident, but I was afraid that it would be miserable if he didn't plan to capsize the boat in the ditch. Tan Ren burst into laughter and coughed up a gesture that was no longer gentle, but said that until then, I will definitely kill you enough. He doesn't believe he can say this after all. The news is that he reported it. But in trouble? Did he kill good people to make merit? This Tan Nen, however, does not consider him a good person. With a list of achievements as a young master of 10,000 demonic sects, he relies on his parents but arrogantly harasses women without doing any evil deeds. Tanchao City is full of complaints. At first, he wanted to marry a saintess but failed, so he forced his parents to come out and force his wife to agree to marry him. The people of Tu Hong did not know his bad things, so they honored him as a guest. But with his reputation in Tanchao, even if he wanted to cut off his head, everyone would definitely applaud. Slandered others and said it out loud right in front of them, even though it's not his fault. But it's the honor of this body anyway. Of course, Ling Xiao couldn't help but turn angry when words have no place. Violence will prevail. He pulled out his gun to make peace, but the other party refused to pull out his long sword. At this moment, where did the maid Di Dung come from? She found the atmosphere here too tense, so she easily removed the whole roof to make it airy. This product just arrived and got mad while smashing the house and talking loudly. Go and change your last name. Sit and stay unchanged. When Di Dung's housekeeper is here, Ling Xiao surrenders his life. The whole house is only left with rubble. Tan Ren was unharmed, on the contrary. He was quite struggling under the rubble. Tan received his head up to look at Di Dung. The person who came this time was fortunate to be a demon, so he was forced to destroy it instead of happily sitting aside and willing to watch him being divided into 8 pieces. That demon maid, he roamed, but didn't let the people below get into her eyes. Let out a roar and swung her huge fist at Tan Ren. Only regret that the enemy did not measure himself. He not only did not dodge, but also gently shook the small rattle on his hat. After that, he pulled out his sword and rushed to slash continuously at his left arm, just throwing his fists. The demon maid Di Dung was almost shocked. Who would have thought that this green name would be so strong? While still having strength, he applied the 36 strategy. Run away is the best strategy. I only regret that this time I encountered the Imperial Army. Even if I wanted to run, it would be difficult for me to escape. Seeing the person who had left, Ling Xiao immediately sat up and relaxed. If you act like this every day, you'll soon be on the list of best actors, no joke. Tan Ren is chased after the demon, but he will continue to happily be a passer by watching them tear each other apart. But thinking about the rattle, and the long sword the angel always carries with him makes him feel a bit weird. The first time he met him, he had the opportunity to see the power of these 2 weapons, so it was estimated that this was some kind of formidable magic. If in the future he had an unfortunate encounter, he would definitely be a little more careful, suddenly remembering the bitter words that the angel said about himself. Ling Xiao felt that he should probably take advantage of his cultivation. Otherwise, once he returns to the Holy Province, I'm afraid he will be beaten to death. Not far away, Di Dung left for a while, but still hasn't returned. So Deep started to have some insecurity in his heart. As soon as Cao Cao mentioned Cao Cao, he went to Di Dung when he went to Tiger. But when he came back, He sneaked like a puppy with his tail, and went straight into his body. If K-Uyn was threatened like this, then Ling Xiao must have used some terrible trick. Speaking of tricks, he immediately took out his hair and prepared a doll, then used the soul-killing spell to confirm on the doll the purpose was to kill Ling Xiao through this thing in a way that ghosts or people don't know. I didn't expect that he could not harm people. On the contrary, he received a backlash. The other group of hair suddenly radiated full of magic and suddenly disappeared. Even more surprised, Tonrin came down from above and said a sentence that scared him. "This breath, you are the reincarnated angel." What did the big brother say slowly? Deep Fan was slandered and wanted to argue. But even if he jumped into the well, he couldn't wash away all his sins. The guy who said that he was a waste that couldn't cultivate. Even Ton Fong knew it and said it, but it didn't work. Tonrin did not want to waste time, so he reached out and lightly touched the rattle. Immediately hundreds of wind blades flew towards him and slashed down. The smoke and dust dissipated. Ton, realizing that this person had been hit by a blow but still escaped, he immediately changed his attitude and no longer looked down on it. He quickly landed to check that the magic aura in this place was still there. But the person who disappeared did not feel any more breath. Thinking that the enemy used magic treasures to hide his breath, he immediately broadcasted to the saints in Tu Hong that Deep Fam of Ton Fong City was a god, whoever discovered it, and immediately killed anyone who concealed it would be punished. Considered an accomplice. Being the male lead, but having bad luck since birth, Yi Fan ran in the forest with an injured arm. Even if he thought about it, he couldn't understand what happened just now. However, he definitely knows one thing, that Ling Xiao is the one behind the whole thing. Being wanted by the holy teachings, his life is over. The only plan right now is based on the map to quickly find the new creation, who can turn this situation around. Squeezing half a piece of jade in Deep Fan's hand, gnashing his teeth, he promised himself that the strong man would definitely return to save Tan Tien from the vicious wolf. However, even if he died, he did not expect that he was deceived. The remaining half of the piece was in Ling Xiao's hands. He knew it all, and didn't need him to find it, but he would find him himself. Thanks to his bad behavior, slandering the male lead as an evil spirit, he got 400 points of luck from the male lead, and the system also sent another 1,000 points for his bad behavior. When I received Ling Xiao points, I was very happy. Oh yeah! The next time he can't make it in time, he will get more points this time. He will continue to draw cards to find his luck, but before that he needs to find someone who can take his bad luck first. On the other side of another house in Deep Jia, Tan Tien had just finished taking a shower when he went out to prepare to change his clothes when he discovered that there was a black shadow waiting for him. The other party suddenly came from behind and thought who would expect it to be. Person in dream. Ling Xiao leaned close to her ear and whispered to put his hand where he wanted. The system board was right in front of her, but Tan Tien could not see anything. He does whatever he says, but he doesn't really know what he's doing. The golden hand in the village draws an honorable fruit card with just the first click, and yet pulls out a bunch of valuable items from rare 4 stars to extremely rare 5 stars rumbling out. He looked at dozens of equipment running into the inventory, suffering like he was holding a sour lemon, but sour here is bitter, sour, not fun. The main story is over. Now it's time to go back to the side story. He told Tan Tien Deep Fan that her brother had a guardian angel, so it was extremely dangerous. Now he would go to destroy the wicked, and told her to stay in the city and not wander around to avoid trouble. Tan Tien saw that the person who was about to leave also wanted to go with him, and said that she was a maid who had to be by his side to serve him. Ling Xiao asked if she really felt like a maid, or did she say she wanted to take it a step further. Tam too in his heart has long been discovered. Tan Tien is not shy anymore, but clearly states that he wants to be in the same place with him forever. If the prince doesn't criticize. Lang Tiu showed a cold face and flatly refused. Dream in the middle of the day. The fiancé of this son and Tan Chao had a heavenly book. You're just a wild villager. How can you be worthy of this son? The words came out like lightning in the ear, making the girl's heart almost break. Lang Tiu had just left when Feng K-Uyn interrupted her again, leaning against the window and saying that she was lucky because she taught him not to seduce him. Get one more premium elixir. Now it's time to repay the favor. She advises Tan Tien to follow her, but he is so handsome and rich. It must be ungrateful to both of them, and then just relax and earn a little reward. But it won't be so bad. Wouldn't it be so much better? Tan Tien lowered his head silently with tears in his eyes. A storm arose and rumbled in his heart. On this side, Tan Tien is sad because of the rejection. The other side of Lang Tiu doesn't feel any better. He rode a horse and left with a bunch of stories in his arms. She is the heroine. He's the villain of such a different position. How can the two of you be in the same place? Following the map, Deep Fin finally reached the position of the dragon's head. In front of him is now a large door deep in the cave. He is so happy that he rushes to it without knowing that there is someone watching behind him. After going through the door to a big wall, in front of both of them was a huge dragon mask. Only after being robbed of most of his luck, the male lead's intelligence seemed to decrease more and more. Seeing him struggle forever, but still couldn't open, Ling Qiu couldn't stand this. So he told his heart to think of a way to help, otherwise his props would soon end and accidentally messed up. He threw a stone towards the right eye of the dragon's head. Yi Fin saw it, but he still stood dumbfounded and scratched his head. Ling Xiao tried to suppress his helplessness and threw another stone, causing the dragon's eyes to fall and activate the organ. This time, Deep Fan immediately turned around and asked who was coming. I thought that no one would ever see the tree, but still thought that it was the only tree that even Lang Tiu was hiding behind him and couldn't detect it. After the organ was activated, the door also slowly raised to reveal the large cave. Deep Fam young man thinks he's smart to decipher the door, but the guy who knows 99% of it is because the villain hides behind his back to secretly help him. Deep inside is an extremely large secret scene. There is also a mural on the wall depicting a monster that messes with the world. I can't stand the people's lament. A great figure has summoned the masses to fight the monsters together. But this thing is too strong. You can't kill it even if you work together. So that great man decided to sacrifice himself to separate the demon into 9 segments and seal it one after another. When I came here, suddenly Ling Xiao realized that something was wrong. According to the picture on the picture, isn't this place the place to be sealed right now? The old tree in front of me saw the movement and suddenly moved. This thing is a 1,000-year-old monster. He opened his mouth to tell Deep Fan to leave obediently. But if the food was put in his mouth, wouldn't it be weird if he didn't chew it? Yi Fan knows that this is a bodyguard to protect the secret treasure. As long as he takes the creator, he will return and immediately kill Ling Tiu. The thing sealed in this place is just or the worst thing in the world that mortals can't get their hands on. It's here, exactly hidden inside this monstrous tree. Lang Tiu on the side also knows that this is the final boss. Now what he should do is wait until Deep Fan defeats this thing. He will rush to grab it all. His brother is a profitable fisherman. But what's the point of going there? The war has begun to quickly get the treasure. So Deep Fan loudly calls out what to use. But when he called, the other product didn't show up. Hey, hello, are you at home? Can you watch it like that? While he wasn't paying attention, he was hit by the roots of a tree, and red blood fell on the ground at the same time. If you know that you can't rely on the demon made you wrong anymore, then just live on your own. Deep Fan clasped his hands together to borrow the power of the Bat Hong Lu Lai Thap to form a defensive armor outside, then rushed in to fight a bloody battle with the monster tree. The male lead is truly the male lead, very charismatic. The power is shocking. The smoke and the fire is soaring in the sky. Some people fight back and want to vomit blood. Others lie down like they're going to the movies. Spent an hour playing from dawn to dusk, but still not done. Ling Xiao began to feel that something was not right, because he had experience in writing online novels. Most of the battle scenes of the novel had low creative content, but the length of the occupation was very large, and it took so long. This is because the author of the chapter earns money to unlock the readers here. But if there is, it will be fun while fighting but lasting like this Indian action movie. Surely readers in the comment section will teach the author how to be a human. But it's not easy to forgive. Ling Xiao linked Deep Fan's slow decoding story, and Deep Fan's weak strength like a slug, wondering if it was really the drop in his luck stat that made him like this. After struggling for a while, Deep Fan finally managed to cut down the ancient tree. The trunk of the tree was severed in half, revealing the treasure that was inside it. Lang Tiu on the outside, and his heart starts to panic according to the story motif. At times like these, the cannon fodder in the main character's group will go ahead and open the treasure chest first. At the same time, the main character will be wary if there is any more luck, or else the danger will be overcome in the end. And this brother Deep Fam has only 100 points of luck. He is really worried that he is in danger and sells salt at any time. The treasure was right in front of Deep Fan's eyes, happily walking step by step closer. Who has this thing will not need to be afraid of Lang Tiu anymore. What is it that goes to each house to shake hands with each person and slap each other in the face? They hate to talk loudly for a while, and then they directly touch the treasure. After all, my family lived for 3 generations. Until my life, I died young. This Deep Fan has no one to stand on the road. Plus, if he has 100 luck points, he can only cry and cry. If the unlucky male lead dies like this, the system will probably take him out and shoot him. Ling Xiao was afraid to take off his pants, fainted, and quickly rushed to stop. "Wait, Deep Fan! Don't go near that tree!" Deep Fan turned around and saw him, immediately scolded him, thinking that he wanted to steal things, wanted to play the game of mantis catching ticks. So he took him out to pave the way and waited for him to wipe out the guards and take all the treasures. Lang Tiu knows he's right, but now he doesn't want to let him die. "Things are not as you think, brother. It's because of my second personality. I haven't even been able to advise a few sentences that have been dragged out by the other side, all their anger and patience, and poured it on top of the story of Feng Qiu Ni, the story of Tan Tian, one by one, and said it all. Say no." The woman even took the opportunity to launch a surprise attack at him, knocking him back a long distance. The two people were having a tense dispute that showed no signs of calming down. Suddenly, the small flowers surrounding the old tree seemed to have been hit, so they obeyed the poisonous gas massively. Deep Fan turned around and realized it was too late, because even if he dodged, he would have inhaled a lot of toxic gas.